Hello, hello. Hope you guys doing fantastic today. There was a lot of questions, that look similar way nowadays. I've noticed in the comments. Many of them are like, like for example, is there a point to like use Avatar of Fire? Is this build capable of doing Simulacrum? There is like the Deepest Tower helmet questions about this one, and like a few more. In this video, hopefully a shorter one, I'm going to try to explain all of these things. If they're worth using and some potential upgrades that you could make to the build, which I'll be testing by the way today on stream also. Let's just jump into it. First of all, Avatar of Fire. Why Avatar of Fire is absolutely amazing, and you shouldn't even think if it's worth to use or not. Avatar of Fire converts 75% of damage to fire damage. Now, the first concern that people have is like, oh, when I allocate Avatar of Fire, my damage on Leap Slam or something drops, or stuff like that, um, or on Perfect Strike. First of all, on Perfect Strike, Avatar of Fire is like bread and butter combo, because Perfect Strike by default converts 80% of physical damage to fire damage. That means that with Avatar of Fire, we convert all of our damage to fire, which is absolutely fantastic. This is what you want to do, generally speaking. You want to convert all that damage to fire, because then you can start utilizing fully different things, different supports, different passives, and so on. So 100% conversion on Perfect Strike. Don't worry about losing damage because you don't. Now, when it comes to Leap Slam, you do lose damage because 25% of your physical damage is going to be essentially gone. But that is more than mitigated by. First of all, we don't have a choice, right? If we want to, first of all, it's worth it still, which I'm going to explain in a second. Secondly, we don't have a choice because at this point, fully converted to fire and fully converted to perfect strike is just like, it just makes perfect sense, right? Okay, so why is it worth it? First of all, we can utilize support gems to their full power. Like, for example, Primal Armament, that gives us 25% more weapon elemental damage. We can utilize Fire Infusion, not necessarily, but there is something else. You can fully utilize that, and you can fully embrace the elemental damage when it's fully converted. If you're only doing one type of elemental damage, is great because you can utilize these gems and stuff like exposure and yeah, like doing one source of elemental damage. Generally speaking, one type of damage is going to be way better than having like multiple ones, because you're going to fully focus on supplementing or on buffing one type of damage, right? So, for example, on the passive tree, we have many places, well, not necessarily many places, but we have places like over here when we have fire damage nodes. We have fire penetration, so we don't need to worry about armor break while doing physical damage or anything like that. This fire penetration, the fact that we're doing pure fire damage is going to be fully embraced, fully 100% embraced by and supported by the fire penetration, stuff like that. Chance to ignite, of course, by default. If you're doing more fire damage, there's going to be higher chance that you're going to ignite enemies with perfect strike, with leap slam. Many people underestimate how strong the ignite is on leap slam because it hits pretty damn hard, right? So the combination of leap slam, ignite, and extra damage over time from Herald of Ash actually means that you're going to be like chunking down these leftover rares that you're not going to kill one hit much faster. That is a substantial amount of extra damage that you're going to get from ignite. So that's a very nice combo, right? Um, so yeah, when it comes to that, this is fantastic. You're going to keep on basically. You're going to keep on, but you're going to make your enemies have zero resistance in most cases because you can utilize penetration on your jewels. Enemies that by default have low fire resistance, they're going to get dropped below zero because you have fire exposure on your amulet. On top of that, if you want to, you can use flammability or something like that to fully utilize the power of the curse to reduce enemies' fire resistance even further. It's just great. But generally speaking, already all these things combined, they're probably already worth it. But the best part about this is the fact that you can utilize stuff like increased elemental damage with attacks on your weapons. And that is what's absolutely insane, because like having 2 of these, and these are 109%, they roll up to 139, right? Having 2 of these is literally going to be like, for most builds, 60-70% more damage. For me, it's about like 55% more damage or something like that, because like I'm high level. But for many other people, it's going to be even more than that, because the lower, generally speaking, your increased damage is, the higher the value of these increased elemental damage with attacks, weapons is going to be. So having this bonus here fully utilized by Leap Slam is just such a massive amount of damage that no source of armor break or anything else is going to mitigate for the fact that you have this. You have increased elemental damage with attacks on your weapons. Nothing is even going to come close, right? This is just so much that just nothing comes close, right? So Avatar of Fire, very good. Please, guys, utilize that. Don't worry that your tooltip or something is going to drop or something, because tooltips don't take into consideration many things. So just don't worry about that, right? Just literally don't worry about that, because oh yeah, the gem support I was talking about before is Elemental Focus, which I'm not even using right now. But on other builds, not necessarily on this build, because on this build I don't use Elemental Focus, because I like to have Ignites on my Leap Slam, but technically you could, and Elemental Focus is going to be, as well, thanks to Avatar of Fire, Elemental Focus is going to be fully supported. So the build that I didn't use, that I used Elemental Focus on, was the Mace Strike, the Molten Titan. So this is where the confusion came from. Now, the second question that was very, very popular, I'm a little bit surprised, but, first of all, I made a video about this like a few months ago, so about explaining perfectly the weapon swap tech. So if you want to know everything about weapon swap, just please go and watch this one. But I'm going to quickly explain. Basically how it works is that you have 2 weapon sets, right? Your weapon set number 2 are these red-ish passive points. Like over here, for example, over here, these 2, over here, these 3. And the weapon set number 2 is the green-ish passive points, right? And you can basically allocate them however you want. For example, if you wanted to drop this from weapon set number 2, you select weapon set number 2, you put them over here, right? Basic stuff. And what happens is that you don't need 2 sets of weapons. What that means is that weapon set number 1 for me, I'm just gonna go back real fast because I'm gonna forget about it later. Weapon set number 2, bada bing, bada boom. And what happens is that weapon set number 1 is designed to give me as much area coverage as possible, so that I can clear the entire screens with Leap Slam. And the second weapon set number 2, weapon set number 2 is designed to give me as much single target damage as possible. So all these attack damage nodes, these like even reduce attack speed, these nodes over here, some damage here, over here, some damage over here, right? All of these are designed to give me as much power as possible. And what happens is that I don't even need to use that into regular content, into regular bosses. What happens is that you need to use these. I mean, you should, because that's a massive damage boost for free. Big fight, tough fight comes over, right? You're fighting Pinnacle boss, tier 4, or whatever it is, like tier 2, tier 1, doesn't matter. And what you just do is literally you just swap them to weapon set number 2, right? And all of a sudden, all of these are activated. To showcase you how much damage you get by this, look at this. I'm sitting at 25.6 thousand perfect strike damage. I'm going to swap them over. I'm sitting at 37. That's 50% more damage. Just for doing that against Pinnacle bosses, that is 50% more damage. And there is possibility that some of these nodes are not even included. Yeah, for example, this fire penetration on tooltip, you're not going to see that. This 30% increased damage against burning enemies, you're not going to see that. These 2, you're not going to see that. So it's even more than that, actually. It's actually even more than this. It's not going to be 50%, it's going to be probably 60-65% more damage. Just because you do this. And you don't need 2 weapon sets. Of course, now, to, dismiss all the, concerns and further questions, you can have two weapon sets. There's nothing wrong with that. And for example, you can put, if you feel like your perfect strike is too fast, which I'm very much going to doubt that people think this way. But if you think that you want to put different runes here, or a different weapon to optimize your perfect strike even further, then you absolutely can do that if you want. But that's going to be something. Weapons for this build are they jumped in price like 10 times. Well, no, not 10 times. I'm just exaggerating at this point, but they jumped in price, generally speaking, especially the good ones. So buying 4 weapons is absolutely not mandatory. Just literally just swap them. You have a tough fight. Boss will have 20-30 million HP. Just swap them around, and then just swap back. That's all you gotta do, right? And then I swapped back to weapon set number 1, and all the passives from weapon set number 1 are active now. So that's literally it. It's that simple, and you get that much damage. So definitely worth it. Now, when it comes to Simulacrum, which is probably, once again, the hardest content in the game, and if this build is capable of doing Simulacrum, generally speaking. I did Simulacrum yesterday. That was, as evidence, I can show you. I have 2 passive points. The first one, it was easy. I did it without any issues whatsoever. Here is the important thing. I haven't noticed Simulacrum having the penetration mod a single time. Something tells me that they removed this modifier, and the Simulacrums will not have ways to reduce your resistances from 90, and that is huge. That is absolutely massive, because that means that our defenses will not be able to get destroyed just like before. And I think that because of this, Simulacrum is actually going to be doable on this character. The tier 0 was very easy, so I actually trust that. I think that doing something like tier 4 Simulacrum is going to be possible. But I'm going to update you on that. I'll need to do some more on stream, generally speaking, on this character, and I'm going to let you know how this is going to progress. But something tells me that it is going to be possible, because I did the tier 0, and even if we had double damage mods, like extra damage is something, 2 at the same time, it wasn't hard. Like they were just not doing that much damage. So there's a good chance that Simulacrum all the way until tier 4 is actually going to be doable on this character. So yeah. Now, when it comes to potential upgrades that you can make to this build, I'm going to, hopefully you will be able to see. There is this item also known as the deepest tower. And what this item does is enemies in your presence count as being on low life. I'm sure that many content creators already talked about this, but I'm going to tell you guys how this helmet it would work for this build in particular, what you can expect. So basically, what you can utilize thanks to this helmet is that enemies are being constantly considered low life in your, like, in short, in small presence, in small area. The helmet by itself reduces your presence by 50%, and the default is 4 meters, so it's going to be 2 meters. So basically, it's going to be kind of perfect for perfect strike, right? Because perfect strike range is going to be about 2 meters pretty much. So if you're sitting on top of the boss or like next to him, this is going to work. And what you can do thanks to this is you can utilize these passives, which are like massive, huge damage multipliers. Not multipliers, just huge damage increases. 120 here, 30, 30, and there is another cluster over here. It's very far away, but it gives you 30, 30, 30, 30. All of these small passives are 30. This is lucky, which is not that great for us, but it's okay. It will be like 5-10% more damage maybe. And the finishing blows for another 60% increased. On top of that, you can utilize with this helmet execute support. Execute, which gives you 50% more damage with hits against enemies that are all low life, which is going to work all the time. Which obviously means that on something like Perfect Strike, you could get rid of one of those and get additional 25% more damage multiplier. All this combined is great. It's not as insane as you would think, because Because watch. If we wanted to get to this point, right, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 passive points. If we wanted to get to this point, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That is exactly 24 weapon set points. Exactly 24. Which means that in order to get these, I have to agree, insane nodes, you would have to use the entire weapon set for this build, how this is designed, right? You would have to use the entire 24 weapon set points. That means that sure, you would get these insane nodes, which would be about, I think I calculated this, I think in total they would give you 420% increased damage, and damage is lucky, which is a lot, but the nodes that we are allocating right now give us about 350% damage already. So at the end of the day, from the tree, you wouldn't get that much for this particular build. You would get like 10 to 15% more damage. So combining this with, oh no, not right now. Combining this with the execute passive that you can get, this in total would be 40% more damage, 45% more damage. And now it's, if you're gonna ask if this is worth it, generally speaking, you know, putting this helmet instead something like this, it's going to give you basically like you're gonna have some less life, a little bit less life, because this helmet actually provides life and chaos resistance, so that's nice. And you're going to lose massive amount of armor. But at the end of the day, if you want to take this character to like absolute like insane level, right, and reach the point where you're doing 10 million, like in tens of millions of perfect strike damage, I think this character would be I'm pretty sure this character would be capable of getting 10 million perfect strikes. Titan would be able to get even more. Titan would two-shot the highest difficulty pinnacle bosses. But this character, I'm pretty sure if you want to like do an experiment, if you want to push the character as much as possible and get to 10 million damage perfect strikes, then I'm pretty sure this helmet is going to allow you to do so. Not that hard, as a matter of fact. It's going to be, you know, this is what you have to utilize to get to these ridiculous numbers. So something you could use if you wanted to boost your damage even further. Of course, what you can do also is literally, if you have too much damage anyway, you can get rid of these weapon set number 2 passives and literally just get this setup for low life. And against pinnacle bosses, you could just swap helmets if you wanted. You're not doing pinnacle boss, like usually when you're doing pinnacle bosses, you're doing them like, you know, you want to farm like 10 at a time or something. You're not going to be doing them like, you know, oh, I'm going to do it now and then in 30 minutes I'm going to do it again. You don't have to like keep your helmet all the time in your inventory. You can just like put it in stash or something, like over here. And yeah, especially in my stash, you can put all your helmets in my stash, guys. Just kidding. And you can just take it out every time you need it and just slap it on and enjoy that 30, 40, for some builds maybe 50% more damage, which is a lot of damage, I have to admit, right? So something you can use. Another thing that you could do potentially, which I will be experimenting with and testing on stream today, is Orb of Storms. Orb of Storms, using Orb of Storms instead of Solar Orb, simply because Orb of Storms could potentially shock the enemies. There is only one problem, and the reason why I didn't get to testing it until now is because the minimum level of the skill is going to be level 3, and we definitely will have to get like the minimum level to ignore the huge intelligence requirements, right? A very low level is going to be doing so little lightning damage that I'm not sure if it's going to shock ever, right? That's the only problem. I'm not sure if it's going to shock. I need to do some experiment and some testing. If this would actually be able to shock, then that'll be massive, because this would be a very nice damage boost again for free, kinda. And I think it, generally speaking, would be better than Solar Orb, because I'm pretty sure that you could still put all the supports. The reason why I'm using Solar Orb is to be able to like get these font skills that generate rage and regeneration, right? So like before the boss fight, I can always put it in and like keep on using it, and boom, like I have rage all the time, which is fantastic, right? Because that saves you passive points on the tree. So I'll be testing Orb of Storms, and I'm going to see how it's going to look like. All right, this video is getting longer already than I wanted it to be, so that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be streaming soon after uploading this video, maybe like in 30 minutes or something like that. We'll be testing stuff, doing more pinnacle bosses today, and perhaps doing Simulacrum as well. So if you want to join the stream or ask more questions on stream, the link is going to be in the description. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and see you next time.